right. I appreciate what y'all doing, okay? But I just got to do this. Okay?
Right, I understand.
I hate to be the bad guy, but that's it, okay? So
we're about to show you. Numbers chapter 1 verse 18, read that.
Numbers chapter 1 verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees.
The pedigrees, what is a pedigree?
I don't know.
A pedigree will be like a bloodline or a heritage or who you come from.
Yeah, I know Moses separated 12 clans.
12 tribes, right.
From Aaron, his brother and everything, I understand that.
Right, it says they declared their pedigree, read.
After their families, by the house of their fathers.
So your bloodline, it comes from your father. Like what my father is, that's what I am. Now watch this, Revelation 7. This is why it matters. Revelation 7. Revelation 7, I believe verse 4. Just read verse 4. Because remember, the Bible is for the 12 tribes of Israel, like you just said.
Correct.
So-called blacks, Hispanics, Mexicans, Native Americans.
So we're all from the same bloodline?
We are. Blacks, Negroes, Jamaicans, West Indians, Haitians.
I've been seeing the races being brought up a lot, but how did Egyptians get 12 races in one place at once?
What do you mean?
Slavery.
Because
and then
God prophesied that would happen.
Why did Moses separate the 12 tribes by?
Because remember, those 12 tribes were 12 men. Yes. But Jacob had 12 sons. And out of those 12 sons were the 12 tribes of Israel.
We made the Benjamites.
The Judites, the Benjamites, the Issacharites, which would be the Mexicans, Gadites, which would be the Native Americans.
How do you know Judas is the blacks?
By the Bible, Deuteronomy 28, and then also Genesis 49, Deuteronomy 33.
Deuteronomy, which they talk about slavery?
Deuteronomy 28, give me Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28, read verse 15, watch this. This is how we know blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites. Now, Genesis 49 is how we know who is what tribe.
You're gonna bring me to, but you're gonna say that they were brought into slavery, which blacks was brought into slavery, right? But God commanded that before He sent us to Babylon to our exile. Now we already went into slavery.
I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you this. Deuteronomy 28, read verse 68. I'm gonna show you this. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
This is God's, through Moses, speaking to the Israelites. Correct. If you didn't keep the commandments, I'm going to send you into Egypt again. Now, my question to you is, in this Bible, did the children of Israel ever go back into Egypt?
No, they went to exile with
right after this, they went to the Assyrian captivity, they went to the Babylonian, the Persian, the Mede, the Greek, the Romans, and then the Bible stops. So what does it mean when it says, I'm gonna take you into Egypt? I'm gonna take you back into Egypt. Give me Revelations 11 and 8. Watch this, I'm gonna show you something. Revelations 11 and verse 8. Because he said, if you break the commandments, I'm gonna send you into Egypt again.
True.
Revelations 11 and 8.
Revelations chapter 11 verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
The dead bodies is referring to the Israelites, us right now, because we're dead to who we are. We think we're Gentiles and African American and Mexican and Native American. That's why we're dead. We're dead to this Bible. It says the dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city. Read on.
Which spiritually.
Now this great city is referring to America. It says it's spiritually, read.
It's called Sodom.
Spiritually, this city will be called Sodom. Now, my question to you is, what's going on in America today?
But I thought He said that I would not take you back into slavery. If you not keep my word, you're going to burn in the lake of fire.
Right, we're gonna read that. Read that verse. But my question to you is, what's going on here in America? This place is spiritually called Sodom. Why is that? Because homosexuality, fornication is running rampant in the city. Read on.
And Egypt.
Also, this place is spiritually called Egypt. Why? Because we also went into slavery here. Just like you look at the back of a dollar bill, what do you see? You see an Egyptian pyramid with the all-seeing eye of Ra on it. This place is spiritual Egypt. Now go back to Deuteronomy 28. Read verse 68 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
So he's telling them where I'm going to take you. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Egypt, meaning slavery, or America, read.
Again.
Again, read.
With ships.
Now my question to you is, how did we get over here?
I understand that.
With ship. That's what the Bible says. I'm gonna take you into Egypt again with ships.
Egypt attained 12 races.
What do you mean? 12
races. You got blacks,
Hispanics,
Indians, and
those are the names we were called. Those are the names we were called today. That's what this society refers us as. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Sure,
but those were never our names.
What's the other races that was included on the chart? Y'all got the chart?
What do you mean? The chart? Blacks,
Puerto
Hispanics.
Ricans.
Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
That's why I said Hispanics.
I know,
indigenous people. Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, Brazilians. There's the sign right there. Argentinians. These are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel.
And what two tribes mentioned the most in the Bible?
What do you mean what two tribes are mentioned?
What two tribes mentioned the most?
You tell me.
Judah and Benjamites. Judah was the main story in the Old Testament.
Judah was the main story.
Was mostly like all they talked about was the kings of Hezekiah.
It wasn't just the kings of Judah that they talked about. They talked about the kings of Israel. What happened was in 1 Kings chapter 12, you had a split in the nation of Israel.
The
so
Levites,
you had Ephraim and all these tribes was called the house of Israel, and then you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was the house of Judah. Now, throughout the Bible, you hear about the kings of Judah, and you hear about the kings of Israel. When you go to first, you got kings like Ahab, you got kings like Jeroboam, you got kings like Oami, you got different kings that they name of the northern kingdom. So what this Bible was only about all 12 tribes. It wasn't just Judah. So even when you get to the New Testament,
they speak mostly about Judah.
No, they don't. They speak about both. Both. Watch this. There's a whole book. Give me Tobit. Give me the book of Tobit, chapter 1. There's a whole book written from someone from the tribe of Naphtali.
I'm saying the Old Testament though.
This is Old Testament.
In the Old Testament,
this is Old Testament.
No,
it wasn't. This is a misconception when you get to the New Testament. They say, oh, the Old Testament was talking about the Jews.
What race was brought up in the Bible? It was the human race, and what other race?
What do you mean, what race?
In Ezra, it was the holy race. The guy said, well, Ezra said that our people was intermarrying with the Moabites,
the other nations.
Canaanites.
Just referring to the Gentiles or the other nations.
I mean, we just all the holy race.
No, the holy race is the Israelites.
Right. Does God not command that even a foreigner could be with him if he keep his laws and decrees?
No, that's not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible. Someone outside of these tribes,
even a foreigner of these 12 tribes,
of these 12 tribes, yes. Someone who's living like a Gentile. Give me that in Ephesians chapter 2. I'm gonna watch this.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna read this scripture.
Even a foreigner.
2:11. Watch this. Ephesians 2:11. I'm gonna show you something. When you say foreigner,
anybody who
are you referring
outside the 12 tribes?
Outside of the 12 tribes?
Who is not Israelite?
No. Who is not an Israelite? No. No. Christ didn't come for those people. Christ came for these 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Christ didn't come for every other nation on this earth. And that's the misunderstanding of the Bible. That's the great mystery. That's the mystery of the gospel. That God chose these 12 tribes, and now he's waking these 12 tribes up, and we must keep the commandments of God.
So even the people outside 12 tribes who keeps his law and decrees, who opens the book, who's not a part of the 12, they would not be into the gates of heaven?
No. Now, will they be there? Now understand this. This is our definition of heaven has been screwed. But first I want to read Ephesians chapter 2 verse 11. Watch this, read that.
Ephesians chapter 2 verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles.
Our people were in time past Gentiles, just like us out here. We used to be Gentiles. Read on.
In the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision.
Now someone that is a Gentile, can they stop being a Gentile?
I have no idea.
No, they can't. So this ain't talking about all other nations. This ain't talking about the other nations. This was referring to the 12 tribes of Israel. We were living like Gentiles. That's why we were called Gentiles in the New Testament. Read on.
In the flesh made by hands.
Read.
That at that time ye were without Christ.
At one point in time, the northern kingdom of Israel was without Christ, because God stopped dealing with them when you read the history in Hosea. Read on.
Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
And being alien, and many of us today, of these 12 tribes, walked in those Gentile ways, and we was basically without this Bible. We was alienated from the commonwealth, which is Christ. Read on.
And strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world.
We didn't have no hope and without God because we were walking like Gentiles. Hebrews chapter 8 verse 8. But watch this. Now Christ has come. We have a way. All 12 tribes can be saved now. Not just Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, but all 12 tribes can be saved. Read that.
Hebrews chapter 8 verse 8. For finding fault with them he saith, behold, the days come.
Remember, he said finding fault with them. When did he find fault with us? in the Old Testament with all 12 tribes because we was not keeping the laws of God. Read on.
When I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
Now he said, I'm gonna make a new covenant. That new covenant is what? Christ. That's the new covenant. He said a new covenant with the house of Israel, read.
And with the house of Judah.
The house of Israel and in the house of Judah. The house of Judah was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. The house of Israel was Ephraim, Manasseh, and all the way through. He said, I'm gonna make a new covenant. This is Hebrews chapter 8. This is the New Testament. He said, I'm gonna make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Read on.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
Not like the old covenant when I took them out of Egypt. When I took these people out of Egypt, it's not gonna be a covenant like that. Read on.
Because they continued not in my covenant,
read.
And I regarded them not, saith the Lord.
Read.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days,
so
saith
it's going to be with the house of Israel. This is the Bible. All 12 tribes. That's what we out here preaching. We as Israelites, you're an Israelite. You must repent and come back to the laws of God and keep the commandments as it is written. That's what we teach.
I'm trying to understand where you come up with the races and all these.
What do you mean? Out of the Bible.
Right. So Moses, what did Moses' brother and sister talk bad about him to make God come down off the pillar and put leprosy on him? What do you say about?
Numbers chapter 12. I know what you're talking about. Numbers chapter 12.
What I'm saying, what did he say to Moses?
What do you mean? What did he say to Moses?
He talked bad about his wife.
It wasn't that he talked bad about his wife. It was she didn't know her place.
They made fun of her because of the way she was.
No. I should get Numbers chapter 12.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman.
Yeah. So they came and spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman. Read on.
Whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
Read.
And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us?
This was the point. This was the problem. They was mad. Well, Moses the head dude, did not God speak by us also? The Ethiopian woman was just a reason for them to have an excuse. Read that verse again.
And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us?
Ain't not God spoke through us too? Look at me. Did not God speak through us? Read on.
And the Lord heard it.
And the Lord heard what? What did the Lord hear?
Him talk about
them murmuring. That was the point. That was why he came down and turned her into lepers, because they was murmuring. Read that verse again.
And they said, hath not the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? Verse 3.
About the woman.
Now the man Moses was very meek, above all the men that were upon the face of the earth. And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out.
Right.
And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth.
Right.
And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I the Lord will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream.
Read.
My servant Moses is not so.
Meaning y'all ain't like Moses.
Read on. Clear vision.
Right.
Who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
Right, because they were murmuring. That was the whole point. They were murmuring. That's why God turned them. Now read that verse.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
Why did she become leprous? She was murmuring. Read on.
And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly.
Why would they sin? What would be their sin? Them murmuring. Them speaking against Moses. They were murmuring because they was envious at Moses. Read on.
And wherein we have sinned, let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
Read on.
And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, heal her now, O God, I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face.
Meaning what? Showing her some respect. In know how to talk. Shut your mouth. Read on.
Should she not be ashamed 7 days?
She wouldn't be ashamed 7 days. She wouldn't have this leprosy on her. So it had nothing to do with the Egyptian woman. No, we cannot marry women of the other nations. God allowed Moses, and that it is what it is. God allowed Moses. Guess what? I'm not Moses. You're not Moses. Ain't none of us out here Moses. So therefore, God told us not to deal with the other nations. Therefore, we don't deal with the other nation. That's the commandment of God. And guess what? You got to keep those commandments. You got to keep those commandments. Christ told you to keep the commandments. All the prophets, everybody told you to keep God's commandments. That's how you're going to get to the kingdom of heaven. By keeping God's commandments.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel, Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.